Igal, as mentioned, has a lot of experience, many years of experience with working with virtual assistants. To those guys that don't know exactly what virtual assistants or in short a VA means. So in general, in the world of e-commerce and not just in, I think in all over the internet, since we became like a global village, I think that one of the best advantages that we can take from the internet is utilizing workers from other countries that are willing to work for a salary that is less than what you would pay probably in your own country. And also, it's kind of a good method or a way to recruit people that you don't feel. Maybe I'm correct me if I'm wrong with the phrasing of that, but you don't feel like you are obligated to them, like guys that are coming or stepping into your office.
Of course, because you don't have all the obligations of paying their, I don't know, any, how do you call it, insurances, and you have to have a very difficult agreement with them that if you want to fire them, you'll have to pay them some money for that and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of advantages.
Let's take it, I think, one step before, and maybe Igal, you can tell us more about virtual assistants, like where usually or typically you source people that are doing this kind of work. What can they do? What kind of skills and how to recruit them?
For sure, yeah. So I'll tell you a bit of a background of how I started with that, how I found virtual assistants. And basically I started my eBay business, it was 2009, something like that. And back at the day I was doing dropshipping from China. Also I started to buy some bulk, and we had warehouses there and so on. And at some point we started to have so many sales. Specifically what we sold the most is the chargers for iPhone, and we were at one point selling like 200 chargers per day just for Israel, for Israeli clients. So imagine how many it was. So because I was a student at the time at the university, I did not have so much time to process all of that, because as we said, with Chinese mailing system, you have many problems with late deliveries, with items harmed in the way and stuff like that. So we accumulated a lot of orders and a lot of customer support we had to do. And I had this decision to make. It's either I leave the business and just, continue with my studying, or I find a solution of what to do, like someone to do it for me or some system. And because, it's kind of complicated to create this automated system to do it all, and especially at the time there wasn't like all this AI developed, we started searching for people to work. We started with freelance sites like Odesk and other sites like that, Upwork, which was at the time split into something else. And we had some success. I mean, we would hire people, would give them like 500 emails to deal with, and they would do it. But I saw that people would at some point disappear. Now, I didn't understand really why. And here's the reason why. Usually, when people are freelancers, what they do is they work at a per project basis. You have a project you need someone for, design me a website, design me a logo, create a translation. They do this project and your interaction is done, and they continue to the next project. It's either with you or with someone else, doesn't matter. But if you give them something that's repetitive, that's not their priority, that's not what they're looking for. Because maybe you're giving them that, but at some point in this work, which is repeatable after itself, some other interesting project came in and they want to work it, so they will disappear. So after a lot of research, we understood that what we need is something that we find kind of by accident, virtual assistants. And I found it through reading a 4-Hour Work Week book. Have you heard about it?
No.
It's Tim Ferriss. There's this author called Tim Ferriss. He's also a big investor, and he's also a consultant, very famous. And he wrote a book about how to outsource your life, your work, and then have your free time, so you can I don't know, travel the world and stuff like that. So to summarize, what happened is I decided to now search for not freelancers, but people who are virtual assistants, people who will work for me. They're looking for work from home, just as freelancers do. But what they want is a repetitive thing. They don't have to search for projects anymore. They don't have to start learning some new business. What they want is give them a task, a simple task they can learn, and then they will do it every day. And also they will receive their payment at a very, very expected time. They don't have to run for it and search for the person who gave them the project.
So just in general, and I had, let's say, some experience with virtual assistant. Most of the time, all the workers that was working for me usually worked in my offices, even if it was abroad. And you already know it, like Romania and stuff like that. I'm always looking to actually hire those guys and have them coming to my office.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of difficulties with recruiting because it took me a long time to recruit people. Then I had to take care of everything that is related to the environment that they work on. So how would you recommend to start? How you are actually recruiting guys?
Okay, so that's a great question. And by the way, you can post your questions here and I will answer them, and Mar will also answer them. And basically, here's the thing. If you're working with someone in the office, I think working with someone at the office is a great idea. It's just something that is much more expensive. If you can allow it, that's great. It has a lot of benefits, also some disadvantages, but it has benefits. But when you're working with someone online, you cannot see them. You cannot see that they're doing the work that they promised. And so the way you work with them is a bit different. So if we're looking at how to hire them, the hiring process is it's pretty straightforward. There's several steps. Well, first of all, you have to go to a website that is designed for people who are looking for a job as a virtual assistant, and job providers, which are us in this case, who that's what they're looking for. So this site that makes this connection, not a freelance site. There are several sites like that. There's online jobs. Even in Upwork, which is a freelance site, you have this option to select to filter just for virtual assistants. Although I wouldn't recommend that. We can talk about it maybe at another time. But what you do is you decide on what kind of tasks you need. You then have in your mind exactly how you're going to teach that, how you can take this information of the task that you do, you can teach it to someone through videos, through Excel worksheets, through anything that can be done without physically being with them at the same place. And so that's the big surprise here, is that you'll find like 99% of the things that you do, you don't really need to be in the same room with someone else. And that's why you can hire virtual assistants for that. We'll talk about maybe later what you should not give to virtual assistants, because it can also be dangerous because they're away and you cannot like have them and put them, complain about them if something bad happens. So you have this kind of requirements that you need. You create a job post, and then you put it in these specific websites that are for finding virtual assistants. Then many people will start to apply, but you will see that most of the people will just send you something, a template that doesn't even relate to what you wrote there. So one of the responsibilities of you as business owner is to see, or as someone who's recruiting, is to see, is the person attentive to details? Did he read what I wrote and did he respond appropriately? Does he have the required skills? Did he explain themselves in a good, comprehensive, clear to understand way? Especially if you do customer support, you don't want someone who has many mistakes, who has many using bad words and not.
Yeah, I will probably look for fluent English, and I'm gonna probably look for very good expressed writing.
Yeah.
And I will probably look for guys that can give a really good service, probably.
Yes, yes. And the first way to screen those is this their application when they apply to your job post. Now, then, of course, if it was someone that physically that here in your country, you would probably invite them to your office and do a face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, but let's assume that most of the people are probably in a different location.
Exactly, yeah. So this is why what you will do is a Skype interview. Now, the thing here to remember is you have to pay attention to some specific things, and many people don't overlook that. So one important thing is to see how's the quality of the connection. Is there a delay when they speak? Is there something that's bad with their internet quality? Because people in these countries, especially like the Philippines, third world countries, are usually suffering from interruptions with electricity, with the internet. So I want to see about that.
Yeah, we had a group in Israel on Facebook, and we were like joking about it. So there was like everyone that hires a virtual assistant was coming every day and saying reason number I don't know 26 why my employee didn't came to work today. So he provided some kind of a funny fact or funny reason. So anyway, that's the way that it works. So as Igal mentioned, you really need to pay attention to the details. Like if you have a good internet connection, what do you do if you don't have a good internet connection? What do you do if you don't have electricity? Maybe you have I don't know, a substitute battery to your laptop or whatever it means. But anyway, you have to make sure that those guys are actually coming to work. And I think that the key point is motivation, because those guys can lose motivation very fast. It's as Igal mentioned, most of the times it's a repetitive jobs. Like you will probably try to give those guys the work that you guys don't want to deal with. Now that's good and not good for. Of course, it's good for you guys because they are doing like the job that you don't want to deal with. But anyway, it's not good because that means that the employee won't be motivated. It won't run with your business probably for a long time. Now, I have to say that there are many ways to motivate the people. By the way, money is not it, I have to say. And there are a lot of researches speaking about the way to motivate your employees. That's a full topic by its own, I have to say. But anyway, if you find the right one to do your job, to work with you guys together and feel like he's a part of something bigger than what you guys are just handing to him as a daily job, then he will feel like a part of a cause, and it will be more good.
Yeah, he needs to feel like a part of the team. It's and as you said, money. Well, money is something that can motivate people, but it's not indefinitely. It's like, I don't know. It's like a hit of cocaine. You know, not that I ever used that, but friends told me that you try it once, twice, and then you get used to it, and it doesn't motivate you as much as it did. So I think the same is with money. You can motivate maybe at the beginning, but then like you're out of money at some point. You can motivate by, first of all, kind words, acknowledgement. It's also
by the way, I have to say that I read a very big research that was made by one of the amazing guys that does lectures. His name is Dan Ariely. As a professor, he's an amazing guy, and he consults to governments and he has very famous books. You can search him on YouTube, Dan Ariely, So he has like an amazing lectures on how to motivate people. And one of the lectures he said that he went into Intel and he tried to figure out why on certain days the employees doesn't do enough CPUs. So they generate in the factory CPUs, and let's say on Sunday they do 100, and on Monday they do 120, on Tuesday they do 150. So why it becomes consistent? And he's trying to figure out like what will motivate them to maybe create, let's say on Monday, more than they are doing usually. So he started with bringing some of them bonuses and try to see if it will work. It actually worked for a short term. And then he went into guys and he says, okay, don't motivate them with money, motivate them with, I don't know, vacations, pizza, and stuff like that. By the way, vacation worked very good. Pizza actually worked better.
Really?
Because the idea of pizza was actually not just for him, it was also for the family. Because now think about someone that are knocking on your door and you are sitting in your living room with your family, and now a pizza comes in and you feel like it's like for your family, not just for you. That actually worked. But by the way, and this is the let's say the point of it. The best thing was actually sending them all kinds of SMSs or giving them messages that that they are doing a good job. So people really need to feel encouraged, and that's the key point. So guys, money won't do it. Other benefits probably will do it, but for the short term. And the best thing is to always have them feel well, because these guys are important and crucial for your business. So just so you know, in order to be a very good businessman, it's all around people. So people are the key persons in your business. Take it as a business advice.
Yeah, so keeping them, it's important that they will feel that what they're doing is important. That's a very good point here. And I want to say that if you have someone who is motivated and is good, it will transform your business. I mean, even the idea of having a VA to do something simple, and he doesn't even have to be a superstar. Even if he does like 80% of the job that you would do, it will free up so much time for you to do other stuff. I mean, imagine your business now. I don't know at what point you are. Maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you're already having many sales. It doesn't matter, you want it or not, or you're good or not. You will have a lot of stuff that is consuming time. It's just the reality of that.
Yigal, can you give me like, or to give everyone, like, what are the price ranges for these guys?
Yeah, so that's the amazing thing. So let's say if in Israel to hire someone and work in your office, it would be at least like $10-15 per hour, right?
Yeah.
In a good case. If you're hiring someone from the Philippines, and that's what's great with this currency power differences, you can find someone who will do like customer support and all these other tasks for between $2 and $4 per hour.
Wow.
And the cool thing is that you don't owe them anything else. The relationship between you two is a service provider, which is the VA, and you are as the client. So you pay them per hour, $2 to $4 per hour, and that's it. You don't owe them anything else. Now, of course, as we said, you want to keep them motivated, you want to give them encouragement, maybe some bonuses sometimes if they did exceptional work, but that's not like the main thing. The main thing is that you pay them and that's all your obligation.
Yeah, now I have to say something regarding salaries. Now, I know that I see people in the internet trying to compete how much they pay for the VA, and sometimes they are looking for the cheap prices, and someone says, hey, I have a VA for $1.50 or $1 per hour. Now, I have to say, guys, be careful with that. Now, in regards to what I said regarding motivation and money, it's not the point of having people motivated. I have to say something completely different. Now, people will stick in their job as long as they feel that they profit enough. Like the job, they can feel motivated by kind words, but again, what will glue them to the seat and for your business will be probably the salary. Yeah. So I have to say that in my perspective, and this is my point of view only, I was always looking to hire people that were well paid.
Yeah.
Because when they are well paid, at least if it's not the key point of motivation, they will still keep consistent with the job and not trying to search other alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, it's enough that you pay them and you're showing off, oh, I pay just $1.30. It's enough that someone else will offer them $1.50 and they're gone, and you won't hear from them again.
Yeah.
And also, you don't want to create like slavery. You don't want to create something that people will struggle to put food on the table with that. And that's the beauty of working with the Philippines, because it's enough to pay them $2 to $3 per hour, and that's enough for them to pay for their bills, pay for their house, pay for food, and even take their family sometimes on vacation.
Yeah, I have to say a very nice story regarding the Philippines, and I have a friend who hires a lot of people from the Philippines. I hope he doesn't mind that I'm saying his name. His name is Gilad, and he has like a lot of workers in the Philippines, and he calls them the gladiators. So one time he went to visit all of them, and he took them to a water park, and they did all kinds of events, and he even bought them mugs with their names and pictures of his company logo. And those guys were so dedicated that were felt again a part of a big cause, and that's very important to say.
For sure.
So I think that guys, if you are looking to hire people from the Philippines, or it doesn't matter if it's from India or other places, keep those points in mind. And I think to sum up just this topic, first of all, I think that this is a good time for you guys to ask more questions and to say, hire good people, try to find the best websites, try to narrow down between all of the options, try to do a test, have all kinds of mechanism to test them, key performance indicators, KPIs, that's very important. To look or to I don't know, observe their job, and that's it. Do a good business because I think that this is part of growing. I think
for sure, yeah. So I have a couple more points before we go, but before that I want to answer Abdu. He asks, please share with us some good websites for VA. So as I said, there's Online Jobs. It's a good one, onlinejobs.ph. There are so many sites that you can find. You can find Facebook groups, and the main thing is not the actual site or platform, is how you screen them, is how you create the whole process of finding them, or finding what are your requirements, as Mor said, KPIs, and how you screen them afterwards. So you can always find a good person if you're looking in the right way and you notice the right way. Like, for example, another thing that you have to pay attention to, and that I pay attention to, is when you're in the Skype interview, is there a background noise? Because sometimes you'll be surprised how often it happens. People will go to an internet cafe. They don't have at home a computer, so they go to an internet cafe for the interview to hopefully be hired, and then they don't have anywhere to work, only in this cafe, and then it's not very consistent, not quality work. You want to make sure that they have a good environment that they can work in. You can also do screen share with them. You can give them a task, see how they do it mid-interview, like inside the interview. So many things that it's important to do. There is trial and error, but what I can promise you is that once you find a good person, it's such a big resource. You wouldn't believe it. They can transform your business. I've been working with some virtual assistants for years, and they really, without them, I wouldn't be able to grow my business, and without them I wouldn't be able to free up my time to do other stuff and to maybe go around the world. And I did go around and travel the world while someone else is caring for my customer support, for things to be shipped. We didn't talk even about what tasks we can give them, so I'll just say a little bit about that. Customer support is a classic one because 90% of the questions are repetitive. You can just put a template and change stuff. Easy to understand and easy to teach. Item research, this is a more tricky one. There are techniques for that too. Optimization of your store. Maybe communication with suppliers. If you're not working with Amazon, then you want to find other suppliers, you want to see what are their pricing or return policies you want to apply, so they can help you to do some background research for that. If we're not talking about e-commerce, we can talk about SEO, creating blog posts, going to other places, other forums, and putting some information and linking to your website.
Yeah, guys, I have to say this is a very important stuff. Like, I know that there are VAs that can do all kinds of work. It's not just the what comes at the top of your mind as soon as you think about VA. Because they can do all kinds of work, and sometimes they are expert in it, such as let's say graphic design, maybe selling on Amazon if you guys don't understand how to do that, or creating a Shopify store or another website, or anyway you can utilize them. I think in many other things, and as Eagle mentioned, like bringing traffic from outside, writing posts, blogs, YouTube movies, and stuff like
transcriptions also. Yeah. Yes, and you'd be surprised how well they know they write and read in English in the Philippines. Many of my customer support and other VAs speak much better than me in English, so that's good. And again, the thing here, the main point here is it's not very difficult, but you have to know how to do it right. You have to research, you have to do some trial and error. And actually something else I wanted to say is that I created a course for that. I created kind of a video course where I have all the process explained from A to Z. So from understanding what tasks you're going to take from your business, through screening, putting this ad, screening people, and to the point where you teach them. I show you how to teach them in the best way, what to see if they're doing great, if they're not doing great, how to give them constructive feedback so they won't, be offended and then run away, and stuff to be careful with. There are some things that you should never give to your VAs to do, because they can do a lot of damage and they even loss of money, so that's important. So yeah,
I have a question for you, Igal.
Sure.
Today, I remember that when I hired people in Romania, I was going over there, and of course you know, because you did a big part of it as well. Mm-hmm. I teach those guys and I train them regarding eBay, Amazon, everything from scratch. Now, those guys didn't know anything related to e-commerce.
Right.
But today, my KPI, my key performance indicator, is that they are much better than me in what I train them to do. Like, I have to say that they do better customer support than me. Of course, I don't do that for a long time, but anyway, they are really professional in that. Mm-hmm. They do other things that for sure they are much better than me. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious for you. Do you feel like you have like the same experience? You teach someone, I don't know, how to correct eBay titles, and now it's like the best?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it happens with some people who, as in anything in life, they're the best ones, they're the kind of good ones, they're middle, and they're not so good ones. But if you hire someone good, then don't be surprised that they become curious about it. They start to research. And just because they do this daily, they become so good at this, they learn so fast. Again, you give them some things that are usually repetitive, so they become develop such a good expertise with that you'll be surprised after a couple of weeks. You see something and then right away they give you some good solutions, some of their ideas. I had many good ideas that my VAs gave me that I didn't even think about, of how to solve stuff. And I think many people believe that because this is someone who is not sitting here with me, or he's in a distant country, maybe they don't think like us, maybe they're like robots. And that's not true at all. You can find very smart people, very creative people. Even if it's a job that doesn't require creativity, like customer support, you can always find little things there, little windows of opportunity that you can use with a little creativity. And that's something really cool. Yeah, for me, the more I became more like on a high level managing my business, the less I was like very, very specialized in that, because you just don't have the time to be that. And that's why you have people who are experts in what they do, even if they didn't know anything before.
Yeah, and just to, I think, to sum everything up and complete this topic, guys, if you didn't hire yet someone to do your daily tasks, I think there is no better time than today, because it's very important for your business growth. It's very important for what you are doing. I really believe, by the way, the first dollar I ever made on eBay, I spent it on guys that was working for me, because that's the idea for me to grow my business. Now, I really encourage you guys to do that. That's very important. And just a short story for the end. You know, if you go to people and you ask them, what do you prefer? Like a box of a very, very good chocolate right now, or a bigger box of chocolate like 1 week after? Like everyone will say probably that they want to wait, but let's say that, most of the people will say I want it right now, because they really want
the chocolate,
yeah,
they don't want to wait.
Yeah. But then if you say, okay, so what if I will give you like a box of chocolate, a very good one, and it will be a year from now, and if you will wait a year and a week, I'm gonna give you a bigger box of chocolate. And most of the people will say, okay, I'm gonna wait a year and a week, because it doesn't matter.
Not a big difference, 1 year and 1 year and a week.
Yeah. So what comes up with that is that we always see ourselves as very good people in the future, because in the future we will be better. We will wait. We will get better. We're gonna start our diet from tomorrow. We're gonna be better people from tomorrow. We're gonna start saving money from tomorrow, and so on and so on. Now, if you understand that there is nothing like doing stuff instantly and fast, that's the way that you should run your business. Like, think about the way that you can implement those rules that Eagle just told you about, which is priceless, I have to say, because once you are trying to build your business, grow your business, you should start doing it from today. And I'm guessing that concludes most of the topics for today. And
absolutely.